our nation's capital. It's the center of the free world and the place that governs our land. Welcome to Washington, D.C. As one of the top tour companies in the U.S., America Tours and Travel has been safely transporting men, women, and children across this great country. With hundreds of destinations to choose from, we specialize in the entire experience: transportation, accommodations, dining, and guiding you through the entire trip. Our guides are there with you from the moment you depart to the time we return you safely home. A trip to Washington, D.C. has become one of the most important tours we offer. Once you sign on with America Tours and Travel, we begin the process of securing for your faculty and students an itinerary that allows them to see our nation's capital in a safe, well-rounded, guided experience. Your students get the hands-on experience of history with visits to places like Williamsburg, Monticello, and Mount Vernon. And then we introduce you to the Washington, D.C. of today, with stops at our national monuments, the Capitol, the White House, and the Smithsonian Institute, to name just a few. We develop for you in full a process that offers the best value available. If required, we can oversee collecting of funds and are there to answer any questions you may have at any time. Here are a few of our current customers talking about their experience with America Tours and Travel.
I have had the pleasure to work with America Tours and Travel for about 3 years now, and in a word, I can say awesome.
We had people on board our bus that helped us with pretty much every little detail that needed to be done, overseeing our accommodations, food. Again, they were some of the best people to work with.
They make it so easy to organize the trip. Once it's all done, I just can sit back and enjoy the trip when I go on.
Kelsey and Philip were absolutely wonderful. They answered every question that we ever had, whether it was by phone or by text or by email. They were able to make changes on the spot before, during, even after our trip for future trips.
From the beginning to the end, they've done everything that we've asked them to do. We had great communication from Philip and Kelsey every single time. Anything that we need from them, they're always right there for us.
From the time that I decided to go, I met with Philip and Kelsey, and everything was so easy.
If there's ever any unforeseen situations that come up, they always handle it very professionally. They keep us informed. You know, they're great to work with.
And we've used America Tours and Travel for the last several years for our trip to Washington, D.C., and we've had a really positive experience, and we're looking forward to working with them in the future with our D.C. trips. Last year we took 6 buses to Washington, D.C., and what blew me away was just how coordinated everything was. Philip and Kelsey did an awesome job of planning everything out and just keeping us on track and on time and on schedule. The bus drivers were amazing to work with. They were very patient with our students and just really made the trip up and back more enjoyable.
Once we're in the city, the bus drivers are just incredible. They know the streets, they know the best routes to where we're going, and that really makes a big difference. In the past, we've had bus drivers that might not necessarily know the routes, and it's really made for just a stressful trip, but since we've been with Klein, it's just been amazing.
They do all the legwork, securing the buses from Klein, which are, I'll call them the limousine of buses, top of the line. The bus drivers are fabulous. They go above and beyond to make the trip something very memorable for the students. And if they kind of get this little bug in their ear that there's something the students want to do, if at all possible, they make that happen, which I think is really a credit to how much even the bus drivers enjoy the job that they have and want to make it a pleasurable experience.
We saw just about everything that you could see in Washington, D.C., from a whole day at the Smithsonian to visiting the Capitol to visiting and touring all the monuments and the important places in Washington, D.C. that meant something to our kids and that they had studied in history. They really brought the things that we had studied in 5th grade history to life for those students.
They're in school and they learn about DC, but it comes alive when they go and actually get to see it. The first time I went was a couple of years ago, and I had never been to DC, so I enjoyed it just as much as the kids. And you learn more each time you go.
Sometimes we have students that say, we're just going to go as a family, and I'm like, you won't get the experience that you'd get if you went with us on this trip.
It's curbside service, something that you can't do on your own if you were to do the trip. There's no way to afford everything that we do on the Washington trip if you were to go by yourself. It's a hassle-free experience to travel with America Tours and Travel and Klein.
Secure a trip for your school today by contacting America Tours and Travel. America Tours and Travel, bringing history to life.